Hey, coaches, got a special treat today. Good buddy of mine, John Poulnott, is here to share. He's got a kind of unique twist on the stick route, and John is a good buddy of mine. Known him for over 20 years. He was my defensive coordinator at Franklinton in North Carolina, and then he became the head coach at East Wake in North Carolina and was there for 7 years and really turned that program around. Went from very few wins each year to a strong playoff team. Now he's the offensive coordinator up at Lakewood High School in Ohio. And I'm going to turn it over to John and let him share this stick concept with us.
Well, all right. Let me see what we got here. See if this works. All right. Let me go full screen on this. Unique is a strong word for what we've got going here, but I'm going to go through the base concept of our stick, which a lot of teams are using, especially in a 2x2 set. We do have our mandatory outside release up here on the number one receiver, outside release mandatory, and then we have our stick route coming off of that walrus defender, looking at sitting down about 6 yards, 1 yard behind him, depending on how he reacts to our receiver coming inside. And we are going to have a bubble from our running back. We tell him to take 5 hard steps lateral and then attack the numbers. We want him as wide as possible on his reception if the ball is thrown out to him. We are a small team. We had 15 players, and our running back was also a strong safety. So sometimes he didn't always get out as wide as we wanted him, but the goal was 5 hard steps, take it to the numbers as wide as possible. No matter where we were on the field, he was going to take an angle out to the numbers. On backside number 2, this is where we have a little bit of a change up. We have this guy a choice route. So he's going to attack to 12 yards. And when he hits 12, he's got an option. He can dig it. I can get this thing to work. He can dig it. He can continue vertical. I don't know why it's not going vertical. He can continue vertical, and he can run a corner route against cover 2 teams. We like that corner route to pull him out of the middle for help on that stick. The backside, number 1, is going to be running your standard 5-yard hitch. So our quarterback is always looking backside to the number 1 for that give me route. If we can get 5 yards a pop, we want to give that 5 yards pop. And as most coaches know, when we watch video after the game and we watch our stick concept, we're wanting to know why that wasn't hit more often than not. But the quarterbacks, they think the bigger plays are going to be on the play side. They're not always worried about just getting the ball in and out and taking that 5 yard that can be explosive considering who you have at that number 1 spot on the back side. Now, we'll run this through and see what we got here and talk through some of the hiccups that we may see on this and go from there. I really think that the running back is not, and as I mentioned before, he's not really driving lateral as much as I want him to, and he's turning his head around too soon. We want 5 hard steps and get out. We're reading this wall defender. How's he going to react? And we'll read it 2 ways, depending on who's in the backfield, generally speaking, because we're going to put good receivers out in the slot spot. So it's going to be contingent on our running back. Now, if he's our number 1 guy, we know he's good in catching the ball. He's going to be our second read. We're going to read that stick first to get this guy to squeeze and see if we can't rally behind that mandatory outside release and give our running back space up the sideline. Now, if it's our backup running back that may not have good hands, now we're going to read it opposite. We're going to read the back to try to get this wall defender to trigger on the back so we can hit that stick route in space. So those are a couple of things that we do different with the choice route in the backside and reading this 2 different ways depending on personnel. You see that the wall defender sneaks or sniffs out that running back expanding and opens up a beautiful hole right there for us to stick the ball in. That's an easy pitch and catch for us, probably a 15-yard gain. Okay, you take that on first down anytime. I will say that, we need to do a better job of really sticking that route in the ground, and it'll come to, up in a couple of the slides I'll show later, where we do tend to float through that window instead of really sitting down and giving that quarterback a good target. Now, also, we've got, the backside hitch. Okay. He's not, he sees the quarterback's flipping his hips, so he's just going to go ahead and run a go there to give some space in case that quarterback comes back to that option route. That's one other thing that we do. You'll see number 9 here. He's looking back to see if that hitch ball is coming. And he knows our progression is going to be, let me go back to the beginning of the play. He knows our progression is going to be pre-snap here. Quarterback probably thinking, hey, this guy's going to be able to expand on that hitch. There's a little bit too much traffic there, so he goes away from him initially. So he knows that we got a pre-snap go on the top. Obviously, he's 10 yards off. We're not looking there. We got trash here, so we're not looking at this backside hitch. So now it's going to be 1 to 2, 1 to 2, on here, and it's going to go 1, 2, and then 3 to this option route. And that's one of the reasons we asked this guy to clear out, so that this guy can't help sniff out some backside throws. Watch one more time, see it progress. All right. Okay. We're in a 2-back set here, and you'll see this guy doesn't do a good job in protection. A lot of times when we get our 3-man front teams, we're expecting a lot of heat off the backside. This team did a lot of that early in the game, not so much on this play that we were anticipating. So we put this back in the backfield so he can come back and work trash off the backside. He's going to be really soft in his approach, something that we definitely want to improve on. But we're going to still get our stick concept back here. We're losing our choice route, but we are opening up the backside hitch by bringing that linebacker in the box, or having him come off that edge. We do try to open up that backside hitch with that linebacker's alignment with us coming in the back. I know a lot of, get it out now guys, in the air raid offenses I've talked to, they don't really like the 2-back sets as much. They want to be 2x2, 3x1. But we do like the 2-back sets, not only for protection reasons, but in our running game as well. We're still going to get the stick here. We're still going to get the mandatory outside release. I think he actually releases inside, which is another problem. I don't care where this corner's aligned, okay, whether he's outside edge, head up, inside edge. We want to force him to flip his hips to the sideline so that he doesn't see this back coming out of the backfield and come down on that late, because you'll see especially your cover 2 teams who are squatting. We want to get that corner to open his hips up and be blinded to that back swinging out. And again, you get the linebacker overreacting to the swing. We're able to stick the ball in right behind him as he expands. Okay, luckily we had soft coverage on number 2, with this linebacker here, or safety rather. Safety walked down. He's trying to rob that, but we're able to get it inside him. One thing that we will do is we won't just dart in there all the time if we know we have a safety matched up on us. You'll see him run more of a slant where it's a soft release, and then he'll drive inside and try to get that safety to work on a stem, which he does right there, and it opens up a little 8-yard gain for us. get another 2. That same, I don't know what happened there. Okay. Now we're in a what we call troop, a 3-by-1 set here, where we got our tight end. What we'll do with that tight end is we'll do a couple of things with him. Number one, we want him to vertical release. Okay, easiest release, get up the field as fast as possible. Take any trash with you, and then we're going to sneak in behind him with that stick route. We still have our mandatory outside release, and we're still going to drive for 5, get to the numbers on our swing, and we have our backside hitch. Okay, you can't really draw it here, but we got our backside hitch with our number 1 receiver. And again, if it's a give me, we're taking that. If it's a give me, we're taking that every time. Okay, it's a little tough throw. He throws on his backside shoulder, but he's reading that wall defender, outside linebacker. He does step up on the swing. We slip in right behind him. Okay. In fact, we have two linebackers running after that swing, which is good business here. We should be sitting down, and this is where the floating comes into play. We don't want anybody to be able to sneak underneath us and rob that route. So we want to be a little bit stiffer on that stop instead of floating through the window. Okay, here's another 3-by-1, and here's one thing that we do in our formations. We have our standard formation, whether it's 2-by-2, 3-by-1, who's on, who's off. If we're just going to be generic, but a lot of our routes, as far as our alignments, are going to be dictated by route combinations and blocking scheme on that particular play. So we have number 3 up here on the line of scrimmage because he knows he's a clear route. Okay. So we put him on these, 2 and 3 or 1 and 2 are off because they're going to be running their normal routes. So the stick is coming off of his butt. He's got his outside release, mandatory outside release, but we really want to clear with him. And we'll do that in some of our other packages, our smash or our Y drag. We'll determine who needs to be on, who needs to be off based on the clear out that's going to happen in that package. Okay, so you'll see here, number 3 is going to drive vertical. Now we tagged him. Okay, this is our primary route. You'll see the quarterback hold on to this a little bit longer than you want, but he's waiting for this guy. We've had this safety drive down on our stick route a couple of times. They're dismissing this which is a T in our set. We got to, so our T is driving vertical, and they've seen us complete, 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards, which is what we're trying to do. We're a completion-driven team. We'll take home run shots when they're available. Okay, and this team has shown their hand where these safeties are starting to drive down on our stick and just passing off the vertical release. So now we're going to set them up, and we're going to look for a home run, and we catch them the way we want to here.
Hey, John, go ahead and draw the rest of that route up, because this is what makes it interesting to me, this option route. Go back and draw the whole route, and then show the tag touchdown.
Okay. So we still have the swing here, the 5-yard drive or 5-step drive, get to the numbers. Okay. Not the best drawing there. Okay. And then we have our backside hitch. Okay. Now number 3 is he's got an option. We tagged him. He could take this route a couple of different ways. He could have run a dig. Okay. But we have told him, earlier in the game, maybe in halftime, if I remember right, that these guys are starting to drive down on our stick, so we're going to catch them in a bad situation. This game was 7-0 at half, despite their 60-something, Division I and Division II athletes, and our 15, guys that are just hungry to win. So we were in this game for quite a bit, despite the disadvantage we had, and it was a lot because we were just taking what they were giving us on our stick route combinations and our bubbles, which we can get into another day. And because the safety starts sniffing down, we just run right past them and we catch them on a deep throw here. Can't beat that.
No,
Easy
that's
catch
beautiful.
and catch. You got to go to one of our best receivers. Now, I will tell you, and I know the kids would hate me to say this, but this guy right here is running a 4.9. This guy right here is running a 4.9. This guy right here is running a 4.8. He might be a 4.7 kid. He's a 4.8 kid. So there's no speed on the field for us. So we've got to get people sucked up and getting tired of us catching. You see all these cats, they're walking down and they're going, oh, you're not going to catch anything in front of us anymore. And then we sneak someone by you.
That's awesome, John. I thought I thought your point on putting two in the backfield, sucking that linebacker, that weak side linebacker in there and clearing up your backside hitch was a great one. And then your idea of these guys being able to self-align who's on the ball, who's off the ball. I thought that was unique, based on what's best for them. And then obviously that option route is very unique. Where do you remember where you got that idea from?
You know what? I was watching Coach Mackey more than likely, and he was just talking about keeping things as simple as possible. And what happened is we had already, and I don't know where the concept came from, to tell you the truth, Joe. It just might have been a shot in the dark on my behalf, sitting down and saying, what can we do with this backside number two? Because I know I want the hitch, and I don't want number two to be in his way. I wanted to clear out number two, so number one on the backside would have an open route. He could definitely be a give me throw. And I felt like if we were just running another hitch on the backside, he would be in a window. So we were like, well, we don't just want him running anything. So we told him to run an option route, and we got the option route concept from, trying to remember what it was, but anyway, I'll figure it out that another day. But I know it's not a me idea. That I can guarantee that. But we ran. Oh, what am I talking about? It's an App State concept. When they were winning the national championship, they had their Y options and their slot receivers, and they would just tag it Y option, and everybody else was running verticals or clear routes, and they were telling that guy, hey, you can run anything in the book, just get open, because that was their athlete. So that's where that idea came from. But
you're supposed to say, when you don't remember, you're supposed to say, I saw it on Coach Joe Salz's channel, not Mackey's channel. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I got his with, when we brought him over to number 3, I wanted him to keep the same route as he had as number 2 on the backside. I didn't want him to come over and have to have a different rule. Now, we will tag him, like we said here, where he's running a seam and he knows that that's what he's going to get. And that's probably what we'll lean more on next year with because we didn't lose but one receiver coming back. So our receivers are going to be very senior, heavy. And we have a brand new quarterback that's got no varsity reps. So we're going to have to be very, cautious about how much we put on his plate.
Welcome to the club, baby. That's the same thing I got.
So, well,
hey, man, you did a great job on this, and especially out of all the different formations. If you like all Poulnott stuff, and he's a big bubble guy. He's got a lot of good stuff that he can share with us. Make sure you hit the likes. And if we get 150 likes, no, I'm just kidding. If we get some likes, we'll have John back on here before he branches off and starts his own channel. Thanks a lot, John, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.